Rita, the behavior and literacy strategist, coming at you from the Work Unlimited Growth Institute, where you can find solutions for your child's behavior and literacy challenges. That's right, we are improving our children's behavior and literacy from home, changing the game. I'm here to do the top 5 of the week with you. Okay, it's a good one. So grab yourself something to drink and then sit like me, like I'm sitting and I got my feet propped up on Maya's little chair. She don't know, because if she was awake, she would be complaining about it. My feet are propped up and I'm chilling because I want to talk to y'all about this top 5 topic of the week. And it is the top 5 things that you need to do before putting your child on medication. Now, this is a topic that I'm very passionate about, but I have to throw in a disclaimer. I am not a doctor, okay? I'm straight up talking to you from a hard-headed mom's perspective. I am a hard-headed mom. What does that mean? It means I don't listen. I ask way too many damn questions, and if somebody tells me that I can't accomplish something for my child, I do it anyway. And if somebody tells me that's what everybody's doing, that's what the research says, that's what the recommendations are, and if it don't sound right and if it don't feel right to me, I'm like, nah, and then I'll figure out a way to get it done. Why am I like that? Because I feel like, especially when it comes to our children's behavior and literacy, right, that we are in a very strong position, moms, that we can change things at home and implement systems at home so that we can equip our children so that they can go to class and be equipped for success, okay? So you are the key. You have to understand this. Now, before I get started on this top 5 topic, 5 things you need to do before putting your child on medication, I have a question for you, okay? Welcome if you're just joining. Feel free to say hello, because we're going to get it rocking tonight. My question for you is, imagine this. Imagine a world where there was no medication for ADHD. Imagine a world where there was no medication. Imagine you didn't have that option, okay? Your child is distracted. Your child is fidgety. Your child is impulsive, right? And they have a lot of the problems and a lot of symptoms that are associated with ADHD. And your child has these problems, and it's disrupting the classroom, and it's impeding their academic success because they're having difficulty focusing. If there was no medication for it, what would you do? What would you do? Well, how would you help your child? How would you fix this problem? Okay? That's the first thing I want to ask you. I want you to think about, because that's important. If we're going to talk about top 5 things we're going to do before putting our child on medication, because here, like I said, we roll up our sleeves and we get to work from home. Okay? Now, for me, I'm a little biased with this topic right here, because I'm not a medication person. Not just for ADHD, but in my personal life. Like when my husband and I were younger, before we had kids, right, and it was just us, and even after Jazzy was born, we were at Walgreens all the time. You know what I mean? We were buying cough medicine over the counter, and we were buying Tylenol for pain and Excedrin for migraines. I had really bad migraines and all those things, and taking antibiotics, and we really that's what we did, you know. And then I started learning about the immune system, our immune system, especially after Jasmine was born early and had a lot of upper respiratory infections as a result of being born at 32 weeks. And I started looking at natural ways to take care of our bodies, right? And to not get in the way of how our immune system works, but to work along with it, okay? And by doing that, a lot of our ailments just disappear. You know what I mean? So I'm coming from that standpoint. As a mom, I'm always looking for natural ways to make sure we are healthy and make sure we are functioning, right? So I have to tell you those two things before we get into top 5 because it matters. All right, now number 1. Let's get into number 1. Number 1 thing, the first thing you should do if your child has focus issues, impulse control issues, and they are disorganized at home during homework and at school in the classroom, and teachers are telling you that they are very distracted in class, they can't focus, right? What should you do? The first thing you should do is a needs assessment and an action plan, okay? A mom's needs assessment and an action plan. What does that mean? That means all the things that you're hearing about your child, all the things that you're observing when you are doing homework with your child or tasks in the home. They're supposed to be doing a task, but they are getting distracted and running away from it, right? All the things that you're observing, you are going to look at them and write them down. Like, what is getting in the way of my child's academic success? What is impeding my child's growth? Do you understand what I'm saying? Anything that's getting in the way, anything that's impeding your child's growth, causing a problem that's related to something that they're doing, write it down, okay? So that's the first thing you need to do. And then you need an action plan. You need an action plan for all those things. You need to figure out how to help your child do X, Y, and Z. If your child is struggling with A, you need a plan for A, and you need to work on it, okay? You need to have goals for your child as far as related to their behavior. If their behavior is getting in the way of their academic success, you need to have goals. You need to set goals, develop a plan, and work towards it, okay? Now, if your child doesn't have, if you haven't done that, and I don't mean just if you had your child tested. I'm talking about you, okay? I'm talking just about moms right now because that's different. And like I said, I'm not a medical doctor. I can't prescribe it or tell you shouldn't take medication or anything like that. That's not what I do. I'm strictly behavior modification, right? And helping children grow in their behaviors. I'll talk to you more about that in a second, right? But you need to know yourself, what you're dealing with, and you need to set goals and then develop a plan to get there, okay? So that's number 1, needs assessment and action plan. And you focus on it until it's done, okay? Now, I know this might seem easier than, said than done, but I've done it over and over and over again. So I understand how a child, I'll give you an example of my most recent, well, no, it's not the most recent one, but I'm going to talk about him. He was in the 5th grade when I first started working with him. And when we were sitting together for the first session, I started working with him because he had behaviors that get in the way of his academic success. He had a lot of focus issues, but he was really reading way below grade level, okay? Far below grade level. And like I tell you, if your child is reading below grade level, struggling academically, and they have behavior issues, a lot of times they're connected. And one is influencing the other. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, when I sat with him, before we started working, we could have a conversation. You know what I mean? He can focus pretty good. But as soon as we started working, all his focus went out of the window, and all of these behaviors started to come about and get in the way, right? So what did I have to do? I had to develop a plan for his literacy and a plan for his behavior. And that's what I mean when I say needs assessment and action plan. All right? So that's number 1. Number 2 thing you need to do before you put your child on medication. All right? Because you got to do the work first. All right? Because A lot of us moms are not happy with our kids being on medication, and we get upset at the school saying that they jump to that so quick. But we can't have our kid in the class and they're not functioning well, disrupting the class, and we're not doing anything about it at home. And then we still don't want to hear them tell us that our child needs to be on medication. You understand what I'm saying? So here we do the work from home. All right. So number 2. All right. Number 2 is focus stamina. Focus is a big issue when it comes to ADHD and ADD, right? Focus. They can't focus. They're very distracted, right? So you need to develop your child's focus stamina. You need to work on it every day. You need to give your child strategies and techniques, skills that they can put in their tool belt that's going to improve their focus and help them, if they get distracted, adjust themselves to get back focused on what they need to focus on. You know what I'm saying? So that can be done. You can actually train yourself to focus better. How do I know? Because I was a lot less focused years ago than I am now. I had a lot of problems, and this is why I talk to you about this a lot too, because I tell my husband, like, you could diagnose me with ADHD all day. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure probably you could say the same thing. Some of y'all could say the same thing, you know? But I remember a time where I was always dropping things. I was always leaving my cell phone places. I was always leaving my pocketbook places. I would get out the car and forget to roll the windows up. You know, that my husband loved that. Or park on the wrong side of the street. You know what I'm saying? So it's street cleaning day and I'm parked on the wrong side, so we got a ticket. But I didn't notice it because I'm noticing everything at the same time, but I'm not really focused, and I'm just running next thing. You understand what I'm saying? And just getting overwhelmed by all the things that I was trying to do at the same time and stuff. And I had to train myself and had to train my mind, work on my mind and my thought processes, so that I can eliminate those problems and many other problems. Okay, it was a long list. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I work with children. I do the same thing for kids who have issues with remembering things, being forgetful, being distracted, having focus problems. Okay, so you need to help your child. You need to work with them on their focus stamina. Okay. Number 3. There it is. This is really important, y'all. Nutrition and sleep. Nutrition and sleep. Okay? First of all, what we put in our bodies, it really makes a big difference. If we're anxious, if we're depressed, if we are fidgety, if we are nervous, if we are forgetting things, what we put in our bodies are really important. Okay? So getting enough greens, eating enough raw vegetables. I know with my kids, like, whenever I am cooking dinner and I be on my cutting board, you know, I be going to work, they be right there. They want to eat some green pepper, they want to eat some red pepper, yellow pepper, they want to eat carrot, you know, raw carrot, they want to eat celery. You understand what I'm saying? That kind of stuff. Jassy started doing that when she was little, and she still does it, and now Maya does it too. But raw fruit and vegetables are really important, and fish for those omegas, very important for brain health. Okay, also green tea is very, very important for brain health, boosting the brain function, right? So all these things you pay attention to, because if your child has a diet that's not rich in nutrients, then how do you expect them to focus? How do you expect them to remember things? How do you expect them to perform well in school? Because they don't have fuel. You feeling me? They don't have fuel. So this is really important. Now, sleep. Sleep is so important as well. Okay? Now, this is another thing that I had trouble with personally. Okay? Falling asleep, because my mind would still be going. okay? And kids who have a diagnosis of ADHD, or if they haven't been diagnosed yet, but they have these symptoms, people talking about it, right? When it's time to go to bed at night, brain's still popping. Where the party at? You know what I'm saying? Still jumping, right? And it would take a long time for me to be able to go to sleep, and then sometimes I wouldn't be able to go to sleep. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm still thinking stuff, you know? What did I have to do? I had to train my brain to slow down and shut down for the night. You understand what I'm saying? I had to have a nighttime routine that will help me with that. I had to learn how to control my thoughts. If I was worried about something, I had to learn how to seize that thought as soon as it came in my head and then make it just disappear or replace it with something else. I had to train myself. So if your child is not getting enough rest, when they go into school, they're not going to perform well, and they still kind of jittery. Do you understand what I'm saying? But if your child gets enough rest at night, and they know how to, as you can train them to do that, they know how to settle themselves down and calm their mind down so that they can go to sleep and get a good rest, okay? And go to sleep with good thoughts in their heads, okay? That's important as well. Then that's part of them being able to perform better in school and focus better as well. Remember, when you go to sleep at night, you're going through a fast. Your body is repairing, you know what I mean? Cleansing and repairing as you're going to sleep. So it's very important for your child for their body to go through that process so that when they wake up, they're restored and they're ready for the next day, okay? So nutrition and sleep are very important. You need to get that in check for your child, okay? So what do we say? Number one was needs assessment and action plan. Number two, help your child improve their focus, stamina. Number three, nutrition and sleep, okay? Nutrition and sleep. Number four, tap into your child's creativity, okay? So what I find is, children, every child has their own special thing, special talent, special skill, right? Whatever that is, you need to tap into it and find it. But I find that children who are diagnosed with ADHD or have these symptoms are even more so creative in different areas, can understand things at a higher level, right? And what ends up happening is, like, what I noticed for myself and for a lot of kids is, if you look at it like as a weakness, it's like you can't focus. But really what's happening is, for kids who have these symptoms or characteristics, right, they see everything, right? So sometimes you gotta work. If you see everything, like me, I see everything. And sometimes I have to work to focus in on something right in front of you. Give you an example. I'm sitting downstairs and my husband just started talking to me, but in my mind I got like a bunch of different things going on. I looked at him, I don't know what he said. Okay. And I had to stop him and I said, because I already had things I was thinking about in my head. So when you started talking, I had to adjust. So I know how to help myself adjust and focus on him as he's talking now. You know what I mean? Put whatever I was thinking about, all the things I was thinking about, wherever my mind was going, right? It was very grand. Put it to the side and then zoom in and focus. We need to teach our children how to do the same thing, okay? Right? So, being able to see everything, a lot of times for kids who can see everything, notice everything, and you're looking at everything at the same time, yeah, they have to work on their focus stamina, but we don't want to suppress that. We don't want to erase it. We don't want to look at it like it's a problem, okay? We want to look at it like this kid is can understand things at a higher level. They see things that other people don't see. They can the way they think, their mind moves faster than everybody else, okay? So when you put that kind of thinking in a setting where they can be creative, you get some really impressive results. Understand? So what I'm saying is helping your child focus when it's time for them to focus on something, but also giving them a channel for all of that creative energy. Okay? Give them a channel. They have to be able to express themselves. Now, if they're in school all day and it's them and a bunch of other kids in the classroom, they have to learn how to sit. You have to train them. They have to learn how to remain seated. They have to learn how to raise their hand if they have a question. They have to learn how to focus on an assignment until it gets done, right? But it's all set up, and there's some opportunities for being creative and for growth in the classroom. But when they come home, they should have a way and a place and a time, a safe place where their minds can just really be let loose, and they can create, and they can grow and grow and grow and grow, and they really feel like they're being themselves. Okay, all right. So tap into your child's creativity is number 4 to make sure to do before you go to medication. Okay, and we're talking about fulfilling all your child's needs and also having requirements and expectations for them, because our kids do need that. All right, and now number 5 is perhaps the most important. Number 5, okay, is change your child's home environment. Okay, and I like to say, change your child's environment, change your child's life. Okay, look at your home life. Okay, and I'm talking to you from personal experience as well. Look at your home life and ask yourself, is your child living in a growth and achievement environment? It's an environment where your child feels secure. It's an environment, a happy environment. And I don't mean it has to be all roses all the time. You know what I mean? All sunshine and roses all the time. I don't mean that. But if you have conflict in your home, if you have arguments in your home, you understand what I'm saying? If you have disappointments going on because you just can't get it together. Sometimes you may be going through things yourself with depression, or maybe some issues in your marriage and all that. We have to acknowledge, moms, that these are the things that affect our children. Okay? We have to be the first to acknowledge, because we don't want nobody saying nothing to us, okay? Right? From the outside in, just looking and making judgments. So we acknowledge ourselves and we figure out what is it that we need to grow in for our family. And I know for myself, I had never been diagnosed, but I've been having issues with being depressed for years. You understand? And it affected my home environment, and I had strategies all day, to help my daughter, but it didn't work like it should have worked until I started growing myself and taking better care of myself. So ask yourself, is your home environment one of a growth environment? Is it a secure environment? Is it a happy environment? You understand what I'm saying? Is it an environment that your child feels good coming home to? Do they feel safe there? Okay? And it doesn't have to be something that's going on that's jeopardizing their safety. I don't mean, it doesn't have to mean like there's fighting going on in the house or other things. What I mean is, it could be something as simple as an argument. Like the way it affects children, it affects them, it makes them anxious, it makes them nervous, they're worried. Now they're looking at the adults and all in the adults' business and wondering if dad is going to say something that mommy's going to get upset about, or how mom's going to react and all this other stuff. Things that they should not be worried about. These are things that our kids worry about. They take it to school with them. They take it to the bed with them when they go to sleep at night or try to sleep at night. You understand what I'm saying? So if you have things if you're depressed, and if you have things going on in your house that are affecting your children, we have to understand that's going to affect their behavior. That's going to affect their focus. That's going to affect their academic success, and their school performance. It is. There's no way around it. We have to acknowledge that, okay? So a lot of times when we talk about improving our children's behavior and literacy at home, we're not talking about just throwing some strategies at our kids and then see, well, this needs to work because, it's a strategy and it should work, and my kid is a problem because they're not really listening. No, it's not just about that. It's about us looking at it in a holistic way. We look at it, the whole environment. We look at everything that's interacting with our child's problem, or maybe contributing to it, or maybe enabling it. We look at the behavior cycle. We look at everything, and whatever we need to do, we do. Even if it means taking care of ourselves, even if it means, Mom, making ourselves a priority, if that was something that was hard for you to do. See, a lot of us try to be slick, and we be fooling ourselves, and we be like, I do everything for my kids, and I'll do anything for my kids, and everything is for my kids. But we are focusing on our kids and throwing everything, and it's like a bottomless pit. It's not really solving the problem, right? So we're pretending, and we're fooling ourselves to think we're doing the right thing by focusing on our kids and doing everything for our kids, when we don't realize that we're doing all of that so that we don't have to look at ourselves and look at how bad we're doing, or how bad we're feeling, or how hard it was to get out of the bed today. You understand what I'm saying? So here at the Morgan Unlimited Growth Institute, we look at everything and we figure out what our areas for improvement, areas where we need growth. And we don't focus on behavior. We don't focus on that being like that's the problem that needs to be fixed. We don't do that here. What we do is we put a plan in place for behavior, a plan in place for literacy, and we focus on growth. Okay? So let me run down the top 5 things again, because if you do all these things and you really look at yourself as well and grow yourself, you'll see that everything that you're trying to do with your family will get easier. Okay? Because that's my exact experience. Okay? So top 5 things you need to do before putting your child on medication, right? Are you need to do the work, okay? Medication, it could be, if you just jump right to medication, that could be an easy fix, and then sitting back to see if it's going to work, right? Next thing you know, they got to increase the medication because it's still not working, or they have to add another medication to it because it's still not working. You understand what I'm saying? When all along you had to do the work, right? So if you want to do the work, then you're in the right place, because that's what we do here. Number 1, needs assessment and action plan. Number 2, help your child improve their focus, stamina. Number 3, make sure you get your child's nutrition and sleep in order. Make sure they are getting enough nutrients, and make sure they are getting enough rest. And whatever you got to do to help them be able to rest at night, to calm their minds down, to get ready for the nighttime, to get ready for to have a better day tomorrow, or whatever you have to do, you need to work at it, right? Number 4, tap into your child's creativity, okay? Because a lot of times our children need an outlet where they are growing, and like I always tell you, growth is unlimited. They start growing, there's no cap on it, and you have no idea where they're going to end up, okay? For example, my daughter, she makes music now. She's good. And I never knew she had it in her until she just started doing it. But she didn't start making music, and she didn't start growing in all the areas she's growing in until I started taking care of myself and pursuing things for myself and growing myself. Mom, you are the key. You are the key. All right? Number 5, change your child's environment. Make sure your home environment is one of growth. Make sure it feels safe and secure. Make sure it's happy. Make sure it's a place where your child is constantly learning. Make sure you have a learning environment at home as well. And that they can grow naturally, because growth is natural as well. The only time kids don't grow is when other things get in the way. So make sure there's nothing in the way. All right? So thank you so much for watching. This has been this week's top 5 topic. The top 5 things you need to do before putting your child on medication. From a mom, not a doctor. All right, disclaimer. Okay, disclaimer. Okay. I'm also I was a mental health specialist and a special education teacher. So when I talk to y'all, you know, all of my experience are combined. Experiences are combined to bring you a very thorough view. Okay, but I'm not a doctor. All right, all right. So tune in this week, and I'm gonna let you know the next top 5 coming up this Wednesday. All right, it's going to be a good one. Thanks again for watching. My name again is Sharita Morgan, the Behavior and Literacy Strategist, coming at you from the Morgan Unlimited Growth Institute, where you can find solutions for both your child's behavior and literacy challenges. That's how we do it here. Believe in yourself, believe in your child, and always remember that growth